Good day, everyone. I hope everyone's are feeling okay and perfectly fine right now. For tonight's topic, we are all going to talk about contracts. So, what is contract? According to Article 1305, contract is defined as the meeting of minds between two persons whereby one bind himself with respect to the other to give something or render some service. But before a contract is formed, the following three elements of legally binding contract must be present: the offer, acceptance, and consideration. Let's imagine contract as a jigsaw puzzle which made up of puzzle pieces which we call the elements. And if we have those necessary elements, the offer, acceptance, and consideration, then there is a contract. But if one of those is missing, then no contract will be formed. Rules regarding to the offer. Offer must be certain as to the object of the contract and its consideration. Person making the offer may fix the time, the place, the manner of acceptance of all which must be complied with. When the offer has allowed the offeree a certain period to accept, the offer may be withdrawn at any time before acceptance by communication of such withdrawal, subject to the exemption when the option is founded upon a consideration as something paid or promised, followed by an offer becomes ineffective upon death, civil interdiction, insanity, insolvency of either party before acceptance is conveyed.
Counteroffer, a response to an offer wherein the original offer is rejected and replaced with a new offer. To further explain, here's an illustration. Leica offers 100 electric fans to Bea for 80,000 pesos, payable in 60 days with 12% interest per annum. Bea accepted the offer by telegram provided that the interest is to be reduced to 6%. If there is no further communication between Leica and Bea relating to the terms, is there a contract? There is no contract yet between Leica and Bea because Bea just made a counteroffer. Counteroffer gives initial offerors three options: to reject, accept, or continuance of negotiations. Now let's say in relation to the illustration, Leica accepted Bea's counteroffer. Can we now say that a contract is formed? Yes. We can now say that a contract is formed after Leica accepted Bea's counteroffer. Next is rules with respect to acceptance. First, the acceptance of an offer must be absolute, unconditional, and unqualified. Second, acceptance may be expressed or implied. After discussing the definition of a contract, let's now proceed to the essential requisites of a contract. The floor is now yours, partner.
Hello everyone. For our next topic, we're gonna discuss about the essential requisites of a contract. There are three essential requisites of a contract, namely consent, object, and cause. Let me discuss with you the meaning of each. Consent is a meeting of minds between parties regarding to the subject matter and cause which are to constitute a contract. While object refers to subject matter of a contract, it can be things, rights, and service. But in case of a contract of sale, only things and rights can become the subject of matter of a contract. Cause, also known as consideration, it refers to essential reason or purpose which contracting parties have in view at the time of entering into a contract. After identifying the following requisites, let's try to identify them in this illustration.
Mr. X decided to buy a birthday cake for his mom at the price of 1,500 pesos from Mr. Y's bakery. Determine the requisites of such contract of sale. The consent refers to the meeting of the minds as when Mr. Y, the seller, offered Mr. X to buy the cake, and when Mr. X agreed to buy the cake worth 1,500, the object or subject matter refers to the birthday cake. As to the Mr. Y's, the cost is the price of 1,500 pesos. As to the Mr. X, buyer, the cost is the birthday cake itself. To summarize it all, let's take contract as one's cooking. You can think the essential requisites of a contract as ingredients of cooking chicken soup. If we have all the ingredients needed, we can make our soup. Just like for the contract, if all the essential requisites are present, then it gives rises to contract.
Our next topic will be the stages of a contract. There are three stages of a contract. First is preparation or negotiation, followed by perfection or birth, and last is the consummation or termination. Let us now proceed to their meanings. Preparation or negotiation. The parties have not yet come to any definite agreement, thus, rights and obligations still do not exist. An offer is present but not yet accepted. It does not give rise to obligations or rights. The period of negotiation and bargaining ends at the moment of agreement of the parties. Illustration. Mrs. Quintas offered Miss Cortez her bag, but Miss Cortez wanted to see the bag personally. Later, Miss Quintas brings the bag and shows it to Miss Cortez. Miss Cortez offers to pay 8,000 for the bag. This illustration shows us the preparation or negotiation stage of a contract. Offer is not yet accepted in terms of price and object, but once it is, it will give rise to perfection of a contract. The offerer can either be the buyer or the seller. If the offeree accepted the offer of the offerer, the contract of sale is perfected. Illustration of counteroffer. Mrs. Quintos offered Miss Cortez her bag, but Miss Cortez wanted to see the bag personally. Miss Quintos brings the bag and shows it to Miss Cortez. Miss Cortez offers to pay 8,000 for the bag, but Mrs. Quintos offers a much higher price, which is 8,500 for the bag. This is also known as the preparation or negotiation stage of a contract, unless Miss Cortez accepted the counter-offered price, which is 8,500.
Perfection or birth refers to the concurrence of the essential elements of sale, which are the meeting of minds of the parties as to the object and price. Offer has been accepted. There is already a meeting of minds of both parties as to the object and cost, which will constitute contract. The contracting parties may reciprocally demand performance. Ownership, delivery, and payment is not yet required. When the contract is through correspondence or through telegram, there is perfection when the offeror receives the letter of acceptance or has knowledge of the acceptance of the offeree.
Illustration. So let's say Miss Copas already accepted Mrs. Quintos' offer for the sale of her bag for the amount of 8,500. So this will result to the perfection or birth of a contract.
And last but not the least, consummation or termination. It happens upon the fulfillment or performance of the terms agreed in a contract, such as delivery or payment. In other words, when parties perform their respective undertakings. Ownership is required on this stage, when sale is consummated by delivery of both the things sold and purchase money. When reciprocal obligations fully accomplished. When resulting in the extinguishment or termination thereof. Let's say, Mrs. Quintos accepted the price of 8,500 pesos, and later that day, Miss Cortez pays the amount of 8,500 pesos, and after that, Mrs. Quintos delivers the bag to Miss Cortez. This illustration shows the last stage of a contract.
Contract itself does not transfer or affect ownership, but rather creates an obligation to transfer the ownership. Thank you for listening.